Hey, what's up you guys, it's IAmTheLionRider, and in today's video, I am proud to introduce you all to Ocean State Zoo. So, Ocean State Zoo is going to be a brand new series on my channel, and we are going to be documenting the building process of this brand new zoo. So, as a little background on the inspiration for it, it's going to be a brand new zoo in Rhode Island. I know, crazy, right? But in all seriousness, it's going to be a bit more unique because, for once, this isn't going to be a direct recreation or anything. So, I know in the past, whether it be Capron or Roger Williams, Mystic, whatever, you're used to New England zoos on my channel. But this one is going to be essentially my own standalone zoo that is going to be very realistic while not being based directly off of one specific zoo. So, what's special about this series? This has probably been done before. Oh, yeah, you're building a new zoo. That's cool, whatever. But the cool thing about this is it's actually going to be part of Zoo Sims United. So Zoo Sims United, for those who aren't aware, is basically a kind of big, I guess you could call it collab project, but it's more of like a role-play-esque group of people who are all kind of creating an artificial trading economy for zoos across not just Planet Zoo, but all other zoo simulation games. So you could do this in Zoo Tycoon 2, you could do this in Mega Aquarium. I've seen a bunch of stuff. One person's doing it in Unreal. There's a lot of really cool things, but the main idea is that all of the animals in your zoo are going to be determined by a mixture of trading with other zoos in this group or by algorithm. So as an example, I started with a collection of around 10 species for my zoo. And then from there, I'm able to sometimes get, random chances that my animals will breed, and then I could get more animals that way. Similarly, I can also try trading with other zoos. And I should probably mention some of the people I'm going to be trading with, because you're probably going to be seeing other videos from some people very soon. So, as an example, Leaf, my good buddy, is also going to be starting up his series. Probably, potentially, by the time this goes out, possibly you will also see his video today. And I have a bunch of other people that you may know from the channel, whether that be Crocs or Forge, San. All of them have other zoos or whatever, and I am going to be able to kind of trade and make a realistic zoo economy using them, as well as all of the other individuals from around the world. There's zoos representing Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, a lot of Europe. There's a lot of Europe zoos, but the focus is just kind of making a zoo from basically nothing to something that would be good over time. So do not expect animals like elephants or gorillas or polar bears or anything off the bat. I wouldn't even assume, to my knowledge, there are no elephants in the zoo economy currently at all. So, definitely think more realistic zoo standards. So that's what I really liked about this idea for a series / project, is the selling point that this is actually going to be a real zoo, or a realistic zoo. So it's not just oh, well, you can just technically, because Oregon could afford this. No, this is very much in line with the zoos I like Capron, Buttonwood, Stone Zoo. You're going to see a lot of those local New England zoos that are really smaller. The lesser known ones that aren't the big guys like Roger Williams or whatever, having a lot of inspiration on this zoo. So without further ado, I guess I can kind of start about the inspiration for this entire park and what I'm kind of going for with the actual build. So as you might have seen, I'm clearly doing the front entrance for the zoo. And you may have noticed there's probably some weird things that you're like, oh, I don't recognize that piece or something. I am using mods for this series. So this is going to be very similar to some of the other zoos that I kind of made while I was on my hiatus. So if anyone has caught up on my live streams, you may have seen San Leon Zoo, which is my big blowout San Diego expensive fantasy zoo. And then this is kind of I guess the total opposite, while using the same kind of premise, which is I'm still using mods like in San Leon, where some mods are going to be literally exclusively to me, where only I have these mods. But it's going to be basically trying to make it really budget slash realistic, and not just like budget in the way of like, oh, I can't afford it. Like, I'm talking like the animals in my zoo are not going to even be that good. Like, my starting animals, I was very, I guess you could say, strict with the animals I chose to use, but it's kind of a bit iffy. So, for instance, I can kind of go over the list of animals that I have at my disposal. So, I should have, based off of what I requested and got approved, the biggest animal is a mountain lion. So, I have one male mountain lion, I have one male emu, one female golden eagle, one female silvery-cheeked hornbill, and then for mammals, I have 4 Patagonian maras, 2 male, 2 female, 2 mongoose lemur, a breeding pair. I have 2 bobcats. I have, what else did I get? 2 dromedary camels, 2 plain zebras. I believe I got a breeding pair of those. And the rest are pretty much North American species. I got North American river otters, harbor seals, because I thought that was really important for, like, kind of representing New England. Like, harbor seals are kind of like a really common thing in New England, and so I thought it would be appropriate for our zoo to have them. Similarly, I have North American porcupine. I have a male of that, and then honestly, that's pretty much it. There's not really too many other animals. Oh, I do have Aoudad. So that was a big thing. So Leaf and I both agreed Aoudad are literally everywhere in New England, so we wanted to both have Aoudad. So we both have kind of a herd of Aoudad each, so we're probably going to be trading and breeding those, kind of like Southwicks. So that was like a big thing, was with this series, we wanted to be, well, at least for me, I wanted to just pull from every New England zoo and try to do things like, just, you know, oh, well, Southwicks has this, so we're doing that. Buttonwood does this thing. Okay, cool. And, like, I'm going to be combining all of the zoos that I've been to, whether that be Roger Williams Capron, New England Aquarium to some extent, plus some other things that, like, aren't even zoo related. Like, you might see, like, this architecture that I'm doing right now isn't really, it doesn't look like a zoo. And it's because I was kind of going for more of a beach kind of vibe. So because the zoo takes place in Newport, Rhode Island, I was like, okay, what's famous in Newport? So the beaches, of course. So Newport is literally one of the 2 major beach locations. It's right next to Narragansett, which is the other major beach location in Rhode Island. And it's kind of like our, I would say, de facto second most populated city. It's not like the biggest for like population or size or anything, but it's like the other than Providence, Rhode Island, it's like the next big city to some extent. And all of our other, you know, I guess tourist attractions are pretty much by the beach, because you have the beach and then the Newport mansions. So I tried to design it like this is a smaller zoo that's close to the beach. So like, hey, if you want to stop by, we have zebras and a mountain lion. It's pretty cheap. You don't want to go to Roger Williams, you should come to Ocean State Zoo. It's pretty good. And I kind of like the idea of it. So you can definitely see I'm taking a lot of inspiration from like the kind of aquatic theme slash beach theme that I went with. But I also kind of am trying to incorporate some other things. So to some extent, I kind of liked the idea of having a lighthouse, which was actually something I pulled from Twin River Casino, which is, I think, in Lincoln, Rhode Island. I think it's in Lincoln or Smithfield. I forget which one. But it's basically like kind of a big motif that is in all of Rhode Island architecture, whether that be anchors, lighthouses. We have a very ocean state vibe with a lot of like our iconography, so I wanted to incorporate that into the zoo. And I think it works well because, like I said, it's going to be near a beach, hypothetically. And so I kind of wanted to go for a more, like, fancy palette, but not, like, expensive looking. So, like, The entrance is probably the most expensive thing that, like, is really in my zoo, I guess. So I wanted a nice, clean, modern-esque aesthetic for the front, but nothing that's, like, absurd. So it's basically all wood, but I painted it, so it's white and blue. So I tried to keep that kind of color palette throughout the rest of the build, and I think it works pretty well. I think it makes it stand out from other zoos. As you see my little Steve Irwin, which is from the upcoming Outback pack that Leaf made. It's kind of using, it's my point of reference. So instead of placing down one of the Angry Archers or like a guest or whatever, Steve is now the new de facto thing. Okay, so now we're on the flag. So I actually wanted to discuss this. So obviously, front of the zoo, it's very common, in especially America, to have flag poles in front of your zoo. So a big thing that I was going to do is like, okay, cool, I'm going to use these flags that I want to say Haribo made, where it's like, oh yeah, just all the flags of the U.S., and I wanted to make a Rhode Island flag. And then I was like, what am I doing? That's a waste of time. I made a mod instead. So what you're not seeing really on this stream, you might see some cuts and stuff. It's me behind the scenes spending probably a good 6-7 hours modding stuff for this zoo. So as an example, you see I placed down the a new flag item, and that'll be coming in an upcoming billboard pack that I'm working on. And it's going to basically work exactly the same as the existing billboards in game. You place down the flag item, it'll have like a Planet Zoo logo by default, but then you can change it to be whatever flag you want. You can make it the American flag, or the Rhode Island flag, or an AZA flag, or whatever you want. So that's just a cool little thing that I am really excited about with this series, just making custom mods whenever I need stuff. So if I need a specific item that we don't currently have, I will just make it for us, and that'll be great. And most of them, like I said, if there's something generic, like later in the video, you'll see that I used a lot of stuff for like to get the New England foliage down. I'll probably release those separately for the public, but obviously there are some mods that only I would want, like they're just stuff like just my zoo's logo and stuff that wouldn't be really useful. So I have kind of an unofficial Lion Rider mod pack, but like as an example, what I'm placing down right now, this wood chip mulch patch. This was actually for an upcoming Capron episode. So I told Leaf, I'm like, so are we using mods in Capron? And then he's like, I don't know, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna be working on the lion habitat, and they have this wood chip mulch, and we don't really have anything really similar in Planet Zoo currently. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I just made it. And that's kind of been the idea. So now I guess I can talk about my very first animal that I actually placed in, and this is my silvery-cheeked hornbill. So the truth of the situation is, I needed something to justify this thatch roof area that I built, and I'm like, oh, what do I have at my disposal? Oh, I have a bird. I have a silvery-cheeked hornbill. Cool. So I guess I'll just use that, and then that is how Betty's habitat was made. So the story of this is I basically made a, I got a female hornbill named Betty, and she'll greet you as soon as you walk in. You can just go a little bit to the right, and then there she is. She'll just be hanging out in her little perch. And I really like how her habitat came out. Like, it's very, very small, obviously. But for a hornbill, that works perfectly fine. Like, she has plenty of climbing frames, and thanks to all of the mods, like, I would not have been able to do anything remotely close to this with the base game items. But using the mods, I was able to get a good aesthetic. I was able to use a mixture of the exhibit prop pack, the Jurassic Park pack, a few of the new, like, North American pieces that I have coming in that pack. And it's been really useful. I was able to get like a really good aesthetic going, and so I'm really proud of how it came out, and I think it'll be a nice little thing. So similarly, you might be like, what's that little building off to the left of the front entrance? Well, that, my friend, is going to be a gift shop. So as I was working on like the flag item for the you know, like billboard thing, I decided I'll do a whole billboard pack, and I just basically have been talking with NDP and some other modders or whatever about like the best way to do it, and we agreed best way to do a gift shop pack is doing a billboard pack. So preemptively, I started like kind of designing a shell for a gift shop, and one of these days we'll probably kind of fill it with all sorts of custom merchandise and stuff, and that'll be really exciting. I have some really cool stuff planned for this series, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm hoping to do some kind of frequent episodes, because the thing about Zoo Sims United is you kind of have to post weekly updates. So because of that, it's gonna kind of incentivize me to try to make at least one video a week, which I think is a good idea, because it at least will keep me to a schedule that maybe some of my other series, like Cough Cough, Mystic, Cough Cough, Atlas, Cough Cough, Roger Williams, were not able to follow. So I think this is definitely a bit more manageable, and you know, intermittent, I don't know, I can't say it. Live streams are going to be probably prominent as well, to cover some of the other series if they aren't getting as frequent videos. Because, like I said, these kind of time-lapse videos are a bit time-consuming, just because I have to edit them and stuff. But, you know, it's pretty fun to do them occasionally. And I like my little voiceovers and stuff. I get to talk to you guys, and it's fun. So, let's see, we can talk about the foliage. So, like I said, you might be like, oh my god, what are those elm trees you're placing? Yeah, so that's part of, like, what I was talking about. A big thing I wanted was custom New England foliage, because I can't... How many times have I ranted about, oh, we need the really tall oak trees and stuff? I just said, I'm doing it myself, and there you go. Now I have tall elm trees, tall oak trees, tall, you know, birch, whatever I need. And, other things like pine needles and stuff, I was trying to like include just basic stuff I know that I need to get the real feel of like northeastern United States, because unfortunately we just didn't get a North America prop pack, and that is the big shame. Is like, I love the North America animal pack, but without any props, the foliage is still really difficult to get looking good. But like I said, I'm really happy with, you know, how the zoo is coming out right now. And as you can see here, I am trying to make custom rocks for the pathway. And the only reason I want to address this is, back in the day we used to complain like, oh my god, we don't have enough little rocks. But now, whether it be from the Europe pack or the aquatic pack or any of the mod packs, Jurassic Park, Safari, you know, any of those existing packs, now we have too many small rocks. So I was like, okay, cool, we're just going crazy. And I have like 20 to 30 different types of rocks with different flexi color and stuff. So definitely made this little, I guess you could say, planter area really unique. I don't know what you'd call it. It's just a little bit of wild foliage before they made the parking lot, which I will probably do the parking lot at some point. Like, it's just not something that was super enticing to me, because one of the rules with Zoo Sims United is, in order to start trading, which is the thing that I really want to do, like I said, Leaf and Forge and I and stuff, we already have like plans to start like trading with each other. You need at least 50% of your species on exhibit, so I was able to try to kind of mass produce episodes so that I was able to start trading a lot quicker. I'm still not at that 50% threshold quite yet, but I think we'll probably get there within the next few weeks, so that'll be really, really exciting. But the last thing is the custom logo I made. So I kind of got some inspiration from Stone and Franklin Park for the logo design, but I think it looks really cool. And then we have all of these cheesy silhouettes, which actually fit really well because they are just the incorrect species that I needed from Frontier, such as the dromedary camel and the American alligator. Though we have it now, so it's not really that bad. But yeah, also I do want to mention, because I think I forgot to mention it, I do have two white-tailed deer too. I don't even really count them as zoo animals, but I do have two white-tailed deer at my disposal as well. So I'll probably just throw those like in the woods or something. I don't know. I don't really count them as like one of the zoo animals. They're just kind of like something I can throw in any existing habitat. But finally, before we end today's video, I wanted to throw in obviously like a little admissions booth or whatever, and mess with the path, and then that was about it. So thank you all for watching. You can see my beautiful entrance in all of its glory right here. And stay tuned next time where we will start the first real habitat, and that is going to be our harbor seals. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.